Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. My name is Rod, your happy hippie. Doing a follow-up to last night's video. These boxes I've gone through, it is a lot of religious and kind of croner music. Cool little 10-inch, but really nothing of any value or interest to me. This is stuff that's probably going to be in a dollar bin or get donated. More religious music. And as I said, here is more of the techno. I told y'all I had a lot. And not familiar with most of these artists. I'm 100% straight with y'all. Nothing wrong with it. Just not my thing. In the 90s, I was an Americana DJ, and this was way out of my league. One of the cool albums I found, I showed yesterday, the Slits. It was just a little EP. They're like an early new wave band, 80s kind of punk. And I'd always heard the name, and Zach Blabbeth commented on my video about him, so I went back and listened to it. It's pretty decent. All these albums I've gone through, again, it's classical or easy listening. That Wall, Row Against the Wall, I've been through 1, 2, 3, 4. These 5 rows I have not been through. And it looks like a bunch of nothing. But that's where I found Bob Weir's solo album, Ace. Beautiful day. Here, I'm going to put it on pause. Actually, I'm not. I'll take you on a tour. Look at this old building. This hole in the wall here that you see was the old milkman door. There was a door there. And inside this apartment, there was a door with a little cubby hole. They would leave their empty milk jug there, and the milkman would replace it with a fresh one. And this is an old abandoned apartment. Has not been lived in since 1980. The building was built in 1933. The old kitchen. I won't show you every apartment because it may bore you. But you see these sinks? Believe it or not, people pay about $30 for those old porcelain sinks. That's outside. Cabinet doors we sell. Anyway, let's go find some records. Walking down the hall. There's some in this room. This room is just a couple crates. A lot of 78s. If you collect 78s, you're into 78s, let me know. And we could work something out. We're probably going to sell them for $2 a piece. Very unlikely, but would it not be cool to find a Robert Johnson in there? And this room's a mess full of albums. This is not my doings. You know I don't treat albums this way. More of the 90s. Some religious. Chicago. More 78s. I've been through that pile. That pile is really nothing but croner music. Andy Williams. Yeah, just stuff like that. Not Barry Gibb, but Barry Manilow. The Row Against the Wall I've been through. There's still a couple boxes here I have to get to. And we let people come up here and go through here. Not a lot, but there's a guy from Nashville who's a photographer. And we let him come pick one day. And he found some more 78s. He found some really cool stuff that I didn't even know we had. But the agreement was if he dug it and he found it, we'd sell it to him. I can tell you something very heartbreaking that happened to me. Here's a soundtrack. But there's no album in it. Our friend Beth at B-Sides loves soundtracks. Something heartbreaking that happened to me. I found the cover to the Stooges, their first album. And now this room needs a light bulb. And I have not even begun to touch this room. Lights out. Tons and tons and tons of records. Anyway, yeah, I found the cover to a flippin' Stooges album. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, the fucking Stooges. And here's another room of albums. But it was just the front part of this album cover. Someone had torn it. So, a lot of stuff, man, that's not my style, maybe not your style. Carole King. But a lot of this stuff is good stuff. I'm not sure what that is. It may be Christian. Nothing wrong with that. I don't listen to it, but I am a Christian. Just don't dig the music. So what I'm going to do, hey, look at those dorks. Does anybody out there know who Little Steve is? If so, hit me up in the comments and tell me. So. Okay, I'm going to pause this video and pick it back up while I'm digging one of the rooms. Maybe this right here. Hold on, guys. I'll be back. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm in another room. The room where the light bulb was out. I went and I stole a light bulb from another socket. There's the old one. There is just like that Jane Fonda workout record I've never seen, and it's sealed. I know it's not worth anything, but I've never seen it. I've seen her other workout albums. This cover is a wall hanger. If you're into collecting album artwork, the covers, to me, that would be very nostalgic. Very, very neat. I'm going to put that aside. And let's start digging this bin right here. Lots of water damage on this one. And I hope this doesn't bore you. If it does, I get it. This is not something as cool as Dylan at Noble Records going through a box of psych records. Foxy Lady by Cher. Best of Disco. So, there's really no money here, but like I said, you don't know what you might find. Somebody out there, David Cassidy, I'm sure some teenage girl 30 years ago really cherished the album Cherish. Charlie Pride, hey. I like Charlie Pride. Eddie Arnold. Yeah. So. It's seeming to be more and more stuff like this. Don't know what to do with it all. Maybe box it up and sell it in, lots of 20. Anyway, let's look at one more box. Dean Martin. A couple copies of Dean Martin. Both of them are in horrible shape. You know what I found up here is a bunch of Blue Notes. The 1970s reissue. And it must have been a box set because none of them had any covers. It was just the albums. And I gave most of those away as VLCT. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Lots of 78s though. Glad I didn't buy these albums. But it is going to be a long job for me to go through all these albums. And I keep y'all updated on what we might find. Now, Steve Carlson, if you're watching, one time you showed your box sets of like big band music, and I told you I had hundreds of them. I've got them downstairs. There's tons and tons of them. And I'll go downstairs now. I'm going to put this on pause. Take you downstairs and show you some more albums in the basement. This building is old. This unit we were just in was a private detective's office. You can see the old glass window. So the apartment's a couple offices, and the first 3 floors were a department store in its heyday. 5-story building, 307 North Main Street in Clinton. 3 floors of antiques and a coffee shop. Beautiful skylight. That skylight must have been something in its day. And the elevator is really cool because it's a manual type. And these are the stairs to the roof. Y'all want to go up on the roof? What I was saying, the elevator is manual. You got to pull the door shut yourself and hold the button in order to work it. Here we are. Downtown Clinton. Not much going on in this old town. If you could see that water tower in the distance, that's kind of like a historical landmark in town. There was like a stupid petition going around to save the water tower. Going back down the stairs. If I can make it without falling and busting my head open. And here's the elevator. And watch this. That little latch here has to hook up in that hole in order for it to work. So you gotta pull it shut and hold the button down. And you just watch the floors pass. Kind of spooky, like from an old horror movie. Down, down, down we go. Throw some shout outs while I'm doing this. Kimbo, want to say hi to Kimbo and to Zach Gladys and to Randy Weaver and Vinyl Mike, or excuse me, Jam on Vinyl Mike over there. And here we're in the basement. Tons of cassettes here. Make bowls out of old record albums that are too warped or too scratched to ever play. And here's some of the albums that I'm selling in my booth. Got Alice Cooper, Rick James, Jackson 5, The Animals, very good album by The Animals. And this is actually a really cool psych album. It's kind of a pop psych, the Tremolowers, but it's kind of neat. More Alice Cooper, The Roaches, Rod Stewart, some Moody Blues, Mr. Jimmy Buffett, Paco. I thought about keeping that album, but no. No. And if you're a country fan, what else we have back here? Some Robert Palmer, Pat Benatar, Rod Stewart, Jackson Brown, Jay Giles, Dion, Pat Travers, The Knack, and tons of country. Lots of country. Got a couple copies of the Danny Davis, Willie Nelson. I may take one home and listen to it. Now, here are the box sets of the classical we have. And they've just been kind of stored here. But if you're into that, there's tons and tons and tons of it. Oh, and this is one I found upstairs. Axe, heavy metal band. Peppermint Rainbow, a psychedelic album. Mason Williams. That's really a good album. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a fun listen. Bunch of old broken stereo equipment. A huge dollar bin. So guys, more albums. Excuse the coughing. It's very dusty in this building with my COPD. It's probably not a good idea for me to be here. Selena. Donna Summer. Love Donna Summer to death. Casey and the Sunshine Band. The Commodores. Kenny G. More Donna. So lots and lots of Motown, dance, hip-hop, soul, as well as country. Soundtracks. I mentioned Beth from B-Sides earlier. She's a soundtrack fan, and Beth is a wonderful person. Wonderful human being and a great part of the VC. Mike the Pickup Artist. I want to throw you a shout out, brother. Speakers for sale. Mike the Pickup Artist. Get him some more subs. He has a wonderful channel. Swellheads. Throw him a shout out. Love that guy's channel. There's so many. So, Rachel the Music Man. Everybody knows Rachel. Living Stereo. I'm getting several of these together. Some really, really interesting stuff. Cassettes at the Yang Yang. 8 tracks. If you're an 8-track collector, let me know what you're looking for. I may have it. I've got an unopened copy. In fact, I got like 8 unopened copies of a Melanie album. And I was supposed to send one to Mike Guitar Player 7, my bro Mike, and I forgot to put it in the box. I wish that album was in the cover. The Blue Magoos. So, Richard Betts, better known as Dickie Betts. Allman Brothers fame. Wet Willie. Guys, thank you very much for hanging out with me. If you stuck with this video, I appreciate it. I'm going to show you some more stuff. Those are the bicycles we got hanging up. Some old vintage bicycles. Those Stingrays. I tell you what, man, if you're at a yard sale or a flea market and you find one of these old vintage Stingrays for an affordable price, buy it. You could flip them. Fixed up, they're going for about $300 or $400, if not more. I started out as a picker before I started my YouTube show for vinyl, because I got into vinyl again through picking. But look at all these albums. This is more. This is in the basement. Just tons and tons of albums. Oh, Jolson. But anyway, yeah, I started out as a picker. And my channel was originally going to be about that, you know, buying stuff to flip and make money. And my love of vinyl took over, and it became a vinyl show. Here's another thing people collect, is old cars. You get $4 or $5 for them. So if you can find it for $1 at Goodwill or a yard sale, buy them. People will pay for them. And that's not being a dick. It's not being greedy. It's how people make money. It's just a thing we do as flippers. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that flip. These old Tonka trucks, the boys played with when we were kids, girls played with them. Even beat to hell, they're worth like $30 a piece. If you could get one in really good shape, people will pay more. Old phones like this, you can sell for like $20 frickin', man. So, let's go upstairs and say hi to some of the folks that are hanging out with us today. Hubcaps, money, license plates, old license plates. We sell them a lot. Missouri, Tennessee. And there's Justine. Say hi, Justine.
Hello. I'm freaking out.
She's freaking out, man. Tons of books, bottles. The last of the boomers. He's a bottle collector. What's up, bro, if you're watching? He's a bottle collector. Another thing I sell is comic books. Comic books. Comic books. I hate that deer head. I'd never shoot a deer, but it's already been shot and somebody sold it to the shop. More books. More comic books we have to go through. Boxes and boxes of freaking comic books we still have to get through. Books, books, books. Some costume jewelry. Look at that old speaker. I would love to have that, but my wife says no. Old percolators, if they're all stood together, they're like $10 and $12. You could buy them at a yard sale for $2 and guaranteed to sell. And there's Craig Hansen. He's the man that owns all this.
There you go.
Craig, how you doing, brother?
Doing good.
How long have you been selling antiques?
I've been selling antiques for almost 7 years now.
No kidding. And all this stuff is yours, brother. You don't have any vendors, man.
Don't have any vendors other than you helping out with the records and one other guy that has a few stuff here.
What's your, so I wanted to get started as a picker. What's your advice for him?
You make your money picking when you buy something, not when you sell something. So you got to find the good deals, and you got to know more than the next person about the stuff that you're looking at.
And don't quit your day job.
Don't quit your day job. Definitely don't quit your day job.
And one thing you taught me, I don't know, you probably remember, 3 steps ahead. So I'm thinking, okay, Miss Judy's looking for some depression glass, and I go somewhere, I'm like, okay, she needs that. I could take it to her, sell it to her with that money, buy that old stoplight that I could flip for $100. Always thinking 3 steps ahead.
And it's you know, we buy, sell, and trade here, so a lot of times you can do really great stuff with trading.
Yeah.
You have something that somebody wants, and they're willing to give something that they want. So if you align the trades right, you can make a lot of money doing it.
That's awesome. Hey, thank you, Craig. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. That's my buddy Craig Hansen. He owns this building, 307 North Main Street in Clinton, Tennessee. Hit me up if you want to come by. You come by and say you watched us on YouTube, and you get a free cup of coffee. Peace.